Lately, on the outside, it looks like I've been crushing it. I've been working on big name games, I've announced some really cool projects lately, I spoke on an awesome panel at PAX, which was totally full, and I've been working out basically every day. But here's the thing, internally it feels like I'm being pulled in 1,000 different directions. Basically feeling like there isn't enough time in the day to get everything done. And lately I've woken up with this low-level sense of dread. Waking up worried that I won't be able to get everything that needs to get done. Hoping day after day I could just get through work without something random popping up and completely destroying my focus and preventing me from getting my most important stuff done. There are things like podcasts and online courses that I desperately want to create. But how do you balance things like that with clients who need absolutely 100% undivided attention, who need you in meetings all the time? And then how do you balance those things with wanting to be as fit as possible? And through that, not getting just good, but getting as good as humanly possible at jujitsu. So as I've been thinking over the last 30 days, I've been thinking of the man with the greatest scowl on the planet, Jocko Willink. As a serial entrepreneur, coach, speaker, leader, and athlete, Jocko somehow gets everything done while staying totally calm. I want to learn what his secret sauce is, so I've committed to living like him over the next 7 days. Now, contrary to my extreme tough guy appearance, I am not a former Navy SEAL commander like Jocko. I'm way too soft to even change a light bulb in my apartment. If one burns out, I just move. It's easier. But even so, I still aim to adapt some of Jocko's principles into my day-to-day life over the next week. And when you look at Jocko's routine, you realize one thing very, very quickly. The man gets up at 4:30 a.m. every single day. Just go to his Instagram and you'll see non-stop shots of his Timex watch at the time he wakes up. And he's extremely consistent. So the first of 4 principles that I'm gonna extract for this next week is simple. Early rising. Like anyone else, I love to sleep in. But every single time I do it, I totally regret it. It feels like the day is over before it even starts, and I'm already waking up in catch-up mode. So even though I'm not looking forward to it, waking up at 4:30 a.m. every day is gonna help. So, it's the end of day 1. I got to do some jiu-jitsu at 6:30 a.m. and actually got everything I needed to get done. This feels pretty good so far. We'll see how it goes the rest of the week. Even though I feel pretty good right now, I super needed to take a nap for about 45 minutes at noon. I'm definitely a lot more groggy than usual, but I have a lot more confidence knowing that I already crushed it at the start of my day. And as the day went by, I would look at my clock and say, oh, it's only 1 p.m., it's only 2 p.m. I have so much time left in the day to get stuff done. Just that feeling of having more time left in the day than usual is super, super confidence boosting. Doing just this principle of early rising lets me come into my day with more swagger and confidence than usual. It also helps keep those feelings of imposter syndrome and that dread I mentioned earlier way lower. Because I'm not wondering if I can get everything done, I know I can. So it's basically my bedtime, which is to say 9 p.m. So let's wrap up for the day. Wrapping up another 4:30 day. Now, waking up at 4:30 a.m. for the last 2 days has made it so that I can get about 4 hours of work done before any client even gets into their office. I got in a jiu-jitsu workout yesterday at 6:30 a.m. and today I went in at around noon. But I want to start introducing a second principle of Jocko's into today, and that's to work out at least twice a day. So even though I got my jujitsu in, I still need to do something else. So to keep things simple, I'm going to do jujitsu and some standard bodyweight training every single day for this week. Working out and waking up super early has made it so I can focus much better than I usually can. I've diagnosed ADHD, and working normally is basically an impossibility for me. I need that extra time away from clients, meetings, calls, all that sort of stuff so that I can get things done. Those of you who also have executive function disorders know that even a 10-minute meeting can completely ruin a day. So all this working out and waking up early is helping me get things done. And it makes me feel like I'm not freaking out going from thing to thing hoping I can get it all done knowing that I won't. Instead, I'm frankly ahead of schedule already. I say this now, but who knows how tired I'm gonna be soon. So let's wrap up day 2 for now. I'm so sleepy. Alright, day 3 basically done. And no, I still don't want to get up at 4:30 a.m. And I tried to convince myself this morning that no, I didn't want to, I could skip it, no one would notice. But I got out of bed and got after it anyway. But know that I was very, very close to quitting this challenge today. Even with the fact that I'm not used to waking up at 4:30 a.m., I'm getting a lot more done, which is actually kind of weird because normally when I'm tired, I get absolutely nothing done, even 1 hour less of sleep and I'm a baby. But lately it might sound like my days are nothing but work, but the thing is I'm actually working less waking up at 4:30 and working out twice a day than I was before doing any of this. It's just that I'm getting a ton done in a way shorter period of time, so I have more time in my day to do things like jujitsu or hang out with friends or whatever I want. But even though this is tough, my days are about to get a little tougher. You see, Jocko spends most of his days running his super successful podcast and running his multiple wildly successful companies. And while on the outside most people wouldn't consider him to be a typical creative, I definitely put him in that category. So I broke down a third principle of Jocko's, and we're just gonna call that create. Being a full-time sound designer, I of course need to create for my clients regularly, and I can't just sit back and wait for inspiration to hit me. A pro can create on demand and needs to be able to do so in a very short period of time. And while I have a podcast of my own I'm working on, I'm going to use this create principle for something a little different that I mentioned at the start of this video. I have online courses that I love to make and run for my students. So when it comes to the third principle, that's what I'm going to be focusing on creating every day for the rest of this challenge. I need to be thinking way beyond just selling another online course that's just a deluge of information. I need to think of ways that I can spoil my students and make it so that they actually have what it takes to succeed after they take that course. So with this kind of extra time in my day, that's what I'm going to be focusing on. So we have early rising, working out twice a day, and creating. Let's wrap up day 3. I'll see you at 4:30.
Hey, hi, hello. So last night was among the worst sleep I've had, but I found that exercise is what's keeping me awake and able to stay productive. So right now I'm on a long walk with Thane to help me wake up. So I found if I'm flagging halfway through the day, I just need to do that second set of exercise from principle number 2. Now today's gonna be a little bit different. I have a bunch of errands to do. I'm gonna get my hair did. And of course I have a bunch of work to do on top of that. So let's see how it all goes and I'll see you soon.
Okay, day 5 coming to a conclusion. But with that, there's one last principle I haven't introduced yet, and that's play. Now you might not see a former Navy SEAL commander as a particularly playful guy, but he does give himself a lot of time to play guitar and spend time with his family. And the thing about play is that it doesn't necessarily have to have a point. Jocko himself says that he's not great at guitar, but he does it anyway. He's not trying to become a pro guitarist by any means, but he does it because he enjoys it and it enriches his life. So to incorporate more play into my life, I'm gonna do the most obvious thing in the world, and that's play more video games. It may seem a bit silly that someone who works full-time in video games doesn't necessarily have all the time to play video games, but ask anyone who works in the field and a lot of them will tell you, they just don't have the time anymore to do it. But because of these early mornings and 2 times a day workouts, I'm actually a little ahead of schedule in all my work, which isn't usually the norm as a freelancer. My clients were actually praising me this week, telling me how happy they were with how much I'm getting done. So with that extra time and extra work being done, it's time to play more games. The main 2 being Samurai Gun 2 and Destiny 2. So far with all these principles, I'm getting more done, I have more time, I'm getting fitter, and I have more time to have fun. Alright, that's it for day 5, but tomorrow is a Saturday and I have to wake up at 4:30 a.m. for no particular reason. I have nowhere to be, but we're gonna do it and we're gonna see what happens. See you then. Alright, it's day 6 and it's a pretty poofy hair day. I'm digging it. So I'm in the home stretch and it's actually a Saturday today, but I still woke up at 4:30 nonetheless. It felt weird to wake up at 4:30. I had nowhere to be, but it still felt super good. I basically did some extra client work this morning, so I set myself up so I don't need to do as much during the next week. And of course, doing a bunch of work before the sun even rises feels really good. All of these principles make me feel like I'm moving the ball forward. Creating every day, playing, working out, and waking up early all make a huge difference. Today was great to get some jujitsu in, to get some work done, and to be able to just play some games later this evening. And now it's time to work out yet again and finish up with day 7 tomorrow.
Alright, we're on day 7, basically all done. This was a crazy illuminating week. Waking up at 4:30 a.m. and working out twice a day were not easy things to do. But by day 4, I genuinely started to enjoy it. And the thing I noticed about all of this is that I didn't just get productivity, but I got peace. That low-level sense of dread that I mentioned at the begining of all of
this actually has completely disappeared. I'm ahead in all the work that I need to be doing. I'm feeling fitter even though I've just been doing this for 1 week. I have more energy even if I had a sleepless night. And I have plenty of time to do things that I want to do, like play games with my friends or just practice things that I want to be doing or making courses or anything like that. And the funny thing is, I've struggled with lifelong insomnia and I thought waking up at 4:30 a.m. would be basically impossible for 1 week. And the thing is, it's actually improved my sleep a huge amount. I'm able to fall asleep much easier now than I ever have been in my entire life. And even on days where I'm more tired, my attention span is much improved over the days where I sleep in. So overall, super positive. Let's get after it, crush the rest of the day, and see how I feel at the end of it. So now that these 7 days are over, how do I feel about these 4 principles? Early rising, working out, creating, and playing. Honestly, I want to keep these going for as long as I humanly can. Sure, there'll be days where I can't wake up at 4:30 a.m. or get into workouts or do everything that I set out to do or want to do. But this week has shown me how important it is to follow these principles as much as I can. That sense of dread that I mentioned earlier at the start of this week is basically completely gone. I feel much happier about my work, I feel much better about the week coming up, and I have loads more time to do the things that I really want to do. One thing I didn't anticipate is how spontaneous I can be now with my time. If a friend wants to hang out all of a sudden, I'm not going to be mired in work like I normally am. I'm able to just say, yep, and do it. All the while getting even more done throughout the day. And I'm realizing now that the feeling I had, that low-level sense of dread, was actually the initial phase of burnout. And ironically for me, waking up early and getting more work done was kind of the antidote to this. Typically, I would have seen those feelings as a reason to sleep in and take some days off and get some more rest and not work as much. But usually for me, doing that in the past has actually made me more lazy, more unproductive, and more tired. Now, it doesn't mean you should do the same things if you're feeling these feelings. That's just what worked for me. And with that, let's finish this little challenge up, though I'm going to keep it going for as long as I can. And of course, if you've enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. And for those of you who followed me for a while now, this video is pretty different than what I normally do, but if you enjoyed it, let me know. I'm very curious. Thanks as always, and I'll see you in the next one.